Carlin has a comedy routine about religion. The routine is not very flattering to God or religion because Mr. Carlin got it right. He gives credit to, quote, the all-time champion of false promises and exaggerated claims, religion, end of quote. Very true. God is criticized for things like disease and poverty because, quote, results like these do not belong on the resume of a supreme being, end of quote. Mr. Carlin is right, and there is more. Two particular assumptions help make the comedy work. The first is that religion is exactly about God. The second is that the universe should make sense to us. By looking at alternatives to these assumptions, the truths of George Carlin are enforced. To the first point, that religion is exactly about God, an alternative assumption is that religion is the product of people. God is God, but even with divine inspiration, the change of language and culture make mere words a poor medium if religion is made of specific statements of fact. The simple test of this is to read Shakespeare for understanding rather than beauty. This does not mean that God is only available to doctors in theology. It means that religion, or organized religion specifically, can provide a set of rules or doctrines, but it is restricted by the limits of the people of the time. To the point that the universe should make sense to us, an alternative is that there is a lot to the universe and we have very much to learn. Perhaps the desire is to make God in our own image. If God and the universe are to be understandable, it would be a lot more convenient if God would let us make the decisions, or at least make the decisions we would make. The complementary elements of good and evil, or plenty and want, or us and them, have been the motivation for many of the advances of mankind. For example, both airplanes and trauma medicine improved during wartime. The saying is that necessity is the mother of invention. So George Carlin got it right. The history of religion is made of conflicting beliefs, contrary actions, concepts that are confusing, and a moral universe that is hard to understand. The spiritual fulfillment of people would be simpler if we could just hold a magic stick in our hand. It's surprising that humans, as a pile of molecules that are mostly water, can even think that God has a plan for the universe. So here's an alternative to the conclusion that seeing or holding something is a boost to God's credibility. Perhaps the unknown thing that drives people to wonder about God is the part that God wants us to embrace. Think on it. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.